Russo. I teach in Elmhurst, Queens, P721Q. It's a District 75 high school. So all of my students have disabilities, IEPs. They are all alternately assessed, so they are not taking any of the standardized exams. And I teach a whole range of populations within that. Before I introduce my co-facilitator, I'm just going to plug this program. This is the Public Schools Arts Office All-Inclusive Teen Theater Ensemble. Peter sent out an email about this last week, but auditions are open. It is a 12-week free program for high school students where they, over the course of the 12 weeks, devise and perform in an original musical for students all over the city from all backgrounds, disabilities and without disabilities. I really encourage you, whatever school you come from, if you have high school students who would be interested in this free program, it is an amazing opportunity. So I have flyers, and there's an email from Peter, and I can answer your questions about that later, but I just have to plug it because I love All In, and we want to get new faces in. And my co-facilitator here, introduce yourself.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Renata Townsend. I'm a teaching artist working in a variety of culturals across the city. Kind of my home base is the New Victory Theater, which is a theater for kids and families on 42nd Street. I also teach at the collegiate level. I teach a theater for young audiences class, where we devise original plays for young people, so professional actors performing for kids. And one of the main things that I teach and perform is puppetry. So I'm very excited today to be working with Marissa and to be introducing, or maybe not introducing, this art form to all of you. We had a really fruitful session this morning, and even we, I think, learned a lot from the group, so I'm excited to introduce this one of you.
Great. All right, so one thing that I do in my classroom, and I think is really important with my learners, the agenda is up. Obviously, we refer to it, but we keep referring back to it so that it's a visual for the students and it's a visual for me. So once we complete something, it gets checked off. It's very, very helpful. So that's what we'll be following today. So we introduced ourselves. We're going to go through warm-ups, what Bunraku Puppetry is, and then we have a American Ninja Puppet Warrior activity for you all, and then some reflection. So let's get into a warm-up.
Awesome. So we are going to pass out a clown nose. We will not be doing clown today. Don't worry or get excited. However you feel about clown. But if you could take one and pass it along, everyone should have one clown nose. No. Okay. You don't need to. Cool. Can we? Yeah, you can if you want. That's how that works. Tommy just saw me short circuit.
I have extra.
Yeah.
Let me know. Put it on.
Does everybody have one?
Does everyone have
No,
one?
we're missing some here. Okay.
Anybody
else?
Okay, great. So a puppet is an inanimate object, and it is your job as the puppeteer to bring that object to life. So anything can be a puppet, including a clown nose. So I'm going to put my puppet on my pointer finger like this, and you can do that as well. And there are three things that you as a puppeteer should focus on when you're bringing a puppet to life. So the first is breath. So what I would like you to do is if you could hold your finger up and take a deep breath. And let it out. Beautiful. So I don't know if you noticed, but inherently all of our fingers also kind of went up, right? Because you, as the puppeteer, your breath is traveling down your arm and your puppet is now breathing. But now I want you to be intentional about it. So take a breath, and I want you to think about your breath is actually going through your arm and your puppet is the one that's actually breathing. So take a breath. Let it out. Good. And just play with that a little bit. So just play with if your puppet was maybe sleeping. Or if your puppet just ran the New York City Marathon. I know them, come on. So we've got breath. The second is focus. So these puppets don't have eyes, but you can imagine where the eyes may be on the puppet. And I will say, you can build, even as something as simple as this, you could build out. So you could get little black or eye stickers to put on the puppet. I've done it where like you wrap your hand in fabric as clothing. You could put on a white glove. So like even this could be a lesson. But for the purpose of today, this is just our warm-up. So focus. You have to think about so take a look at your puppet and just imagine where its two eyes are. We'll say it has two eyes, just for simplicity. And then when you turn your hand back around, you as the puppeteer are kind of going to look through the back of the puppet's head and almost see through your puppet and start to see the world as your puppet. And let's all look up at the ceiling. There's something interesting. Your puppet's really curious about the ceiling. Maybe it's counting the sprinklers, or it's looking for stains. Great. And then maybe your puppet notices another puppet in the room. And remember to breathe. How does it feel about that puppet? Give yourself that internal dialogue. Is it excited? Is it sad? Is it nervous? Great. Great.
More chairs in the hallway.
Anyone needs a chair in the hallway. Beautiful. And relax. And then the last thing is weight. So this is actually going to come more into play when we do our work with our Bunraku puppets. But for the purpose of this, we can also think about like movement. So let's all stand up. And really focusing on breath and focus, I'd like you to find a new spot in the circle. And as you're crossing with your puppet, if your puppet sees another puppet and wants to say hello, it can. Okay? Ready? And cross the space. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to look. And find a new spot in 3, 2, 1. Great. Great. So like all humans, we have different voices. We have different ways of talking. We have different ways of communicating. So I would love for you to turn into your own kind of private puppet studio. Just turn your back and discover what your puppet's voice may sound like. And it does not need to say words. It can just be sounds. It might only speak in beeps. It might only groan. There's so many ways, but explore what kind of voice your puppet has. And then turn back around when you have an idea of what your puppet's voice may look like. Beautiful. So now we're adding a lot. We've got breath. We've got focus. We've got movement or weight. We also have vocalization. The fifth addition is mood or emotion. So we have our beautiful mood meter up on the screen right there. And we have our red zone, our yellow zone, our green zone, our blue zone. Again, no judgment in what zone you are in. But I want you, let's all say our puppets are in the yellow zone. On the count of 3, we're going to walk around the space. Our puppets are going to conversate with other puppets in the room, and we're all going to be in the yellow zone, which is cheerful, ecstatic, happy, and excited. Any questions?
With the voices that we just did.
With the voices you just did. Yeah? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, action. The red zone. So we're furious, nervous, worried, angry. Ready? On the count of 3, your puppets are in the red zone. 1, 2, 3. Blue zone on the count of 3. We are lonely, sad, hopeless, disappointed. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Blue zone. Oh. Remember to spread out. Our puppets are in the green zone. We're at ease, content, calm, and serene. So find a new place in the circle on your walk. Yeah, you're serene, you're at ease. Ready? 1, 2, 3, action. Beautiful. And find your way back to your seats in 5, 4, 3, 2, beautiful, thank you. You are welcome to keep these clown noses, or we can collect them. If you want us to collect them, just raise them up and I'll come around.
Coming in on Wednesday.
Great. Okay, so just referring back to the agenda, what I would do in the classroom. Did we do our introductions? Yes, we did. And did we do our warm-up? Yes, we did. So we can move on to our next part. What is Bunraku puppetry? We have a few ways that we're going to learn about this style of puppetry and ways that you can incorporate it into the classroom. But we have a little example here, and we have puppets of varying sizes. So these puppets are multi-manipulator puppets. So the ones that we will be working with today require 3 people to move them successfully. Renata and I made all of the puppets this morning for the purposes of our activity today. But before we get into how we're going to move the puppets, how you move the puppets, we're just going to give you a quick demo of how to make them, because it's actually quite simple and a really great activity that you could do with your students in the classroom. So,
I feel like it's a cooking show a little bit.
I know.
Ingredients.
So, you can really use anything. We bought this brown paper on Amazon. Somebody in the first session said he did this work with getting material from paper from Materials for the Arts, which we know is like a great resource. But you really can use anything. To start, you're going to have 2 pieces of paper that you roll out. They should be the same length. The purposes of our demo, we ran out of paper today, so the puppet that we're making now is going to be smaller. But however much paper you use will kind of determine the size of your puppet. So you have the first piece of paper, the 2 that.
Sorry to interrupt. We also have a video of this, so this is not your only time seeing this. We wanted to show you in person, but there is a link in the PD packet of someone making this, so.
Yes.
You got it covered, yeah.
Yes.
And they actually say 7 feet of paper, which makes a rather large puppet. What'd you say?
Bulletin board paper.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Even like the ones that have already been up, like it's okay to just recycle it. Like really big on puppets and recycled materials.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to start, you take the paper and you're just going to kind of fold it over itself. It really isn't like an exact science. It doesn't need to line up perfectly. But as you're folding too, you're also kind of like crinkling it up, making it textured. Does not and should not even really be even. So So just kind of folding it up, fluffing it, and giving it that shape. Then you do the same thing with the other piece. And there really is no exact science to this. Renata and I were speaking this morning. If I were to do the puppet construction in my classroom, I would probably have my 12 one-to-one students do this part. I think we can do this with a lot of visuals and a step-by-step broken out. I also teach a 12 1-to-4 class, students with multiple disabilities, many of whom use wheelchairs. I would probably not do this part with them, but I would do some of the other activities with them. So you can really kind of, it would be up to you where you would start this in your classroom. So again, this is the same thing, folding, crinkling. Great, all right. So next step is you take one of them and fold it in half so it's pretty much even. And this is going to be making the head or the top of your puppet. So you can see that Renata's kind of defined where the head is. You can play with the size of the head, how big or small you want the head to be. That's a great opportunity for student choice. And then just using masking tape, she's securing around the neck. And the head is the central focus of the puppet. So you really kind of want to reinforce this part with like a little bit of extra tape to make sure that it's very sturdy and that the head doesn't move around on its own. Once the neck is reinforced, she's just going inside the head and just kind of pulling some of the paper or ripping it too. You know, anything goes, right?
It has a little hair.
Yeah, just going to the salon. Just giving like a little texture to the inside, to the face. And we're doing the very basic version today. There are so many ways that you could take this with adding on accessories, hair, clothes, whatnot. So now the second piece that you have is being folded again in half the same way, but it's going to be added to that first piece that you now have as like making the shoulders and then eventually turning into the legs. So you're going to secure the second piece to that first piece that you have made on each side, defining two shoulders by just wrapping it around. Knowing that the shoulders are holding up the head, everything is coming from up here. Give it up for our puppet creator. She's doing such a great job.
Oh, wow.
She's made about 12 of these today. All in a day's work, right? So securing that second shoulder. And now that the head, neck, and shoulders are set, we kind of pull it, move it around a little bit, and now we can see the definition of the arms and now the legs. So just like that, it kind of takes on shape, right? So now she is securing the waist, definition to the waist. That's going to be one of the control points of the puppet as well, so it's important to define that. And again, you could put it up higher, lower.
I love making puppets with students to then have a conversation about bodies and how all bodies are different, all bodies move differently, and it's part of our jobs as puppeteers to kind of discover what works best. It's a lot of conversation about accommodations as well. I think it's just a great tool to have those kind of conversations.
So you can see that she's gone over the arms and now the legs, kind of just condensing them a little bit, giving them some more definition, and even twisting a little bit at what would be like the ankle or the wrist to kind of make like the definition of the feet and the hands. Make it look a little different from the rest of the body. And now she is defining the elbows, right? And a way you could do this with students, have them move their elbow and then mirror that with their puppet. So we have elbows. We have some knees, so the knees are bending backwards. So defining the knees, giving shape to the legs. And then the last part is defining the hips so that the legs can move around a little bit more.
Here we go.
All right, and just like that, great.
Awesome.
Okay. So we do have, going forward that way. We're going to show you just a couple of minutes from this video from the National Theater so you can see this on kind of like a grander scale. And this whole video is linked in the PD packet so you can watch it in its entirety. But really thinking about, okay, you have this, now how are you bringing it to life? What are the principles that you're applying to the puppet to give it life? And it was everything that we explored in our warm-up. The audio is low on here because it's just coming out of my laptop speakers. I'm gonna have the captions on. It's what they're saying is not necessarily as important as what they're doing, and you'll have the link to this video later.
We're going to show about a minute of it today.
And you can move if you need to see better, please do.
For the purposes of this Gyro and Gimbal Masterclass, we're going to look at the first three principles which we use to bring something inanimate to life. And those three principles are breath, focus, and weight. So we're going to look at the three principles. I'm going to start by looking at breath.
So to breathe, you're going to push down into the sort of ribs of the puppet. So I'm pushing down from the neck, and Finn's resisting me, so we're sort of compressing the ribs of the puppet between us. It's quite important, if you're on the head of the puppet, to vocalize the breath of your puppet for your audience.
And so that lets the audience know that the puppet is alive. They can see the breath, they can hear the breath, so they can tell it's alive. But breath can also tell us about the emotion of the puppet. By changing the rhythm, you might think that the puppet is relaxed, or distressed, alarmed. So you can all sorts of storytelling with the breath of the puppet.
Next up is focus, where the puppet's looking, what the puppet's interested in.
And actually you can hold the puppet's gaze on one thing for as long as you like, because basically while it's looking at that thing, it's interested in it, and it might have different levels of interest. But when its focus changes, then it's thinking about something else. The last principle we're going to look at is we're going to look at weight in the puppet. So this is in every sort of movement of the puppet, possibly most evident in walking. We want to see weight go through those feet as the legs touch the floor, so that it feels like the puppet has muscle and is opposing gravity. The other way we might show it is by jumping. So if the puppet does a little jump. One more time. We're really trying to show that there's weight in the body of the puppet. The positions that the puppeteers take to operate the puppet is
Great, and we can go over that.
Yeah.
on the
So,
head and
also just saying the caveat of like, we're kind of speeding through this today, knowing that you're all theater teachers. When we're working with students, we wouldn't go this quickly, but also we want to give you a crash course in this to get through as much as we can. But this is a great, they break down, where you hold, and this is a great video, I think, to have as a resource to use in your classroom. What we're going to do is we're actually going to get into groups, and now you're all going to get to play with the puppets. And there's going to be 2 exercises to explore the puppets. So the first one really is about just getting your hands on the puppets and really thinking about focus and breath. And that weight. So those 3 things actually.
Next slide, yes.
Oh, great. Great. So really thinking about breath, focus, and weight. Some of the groups are going to have a 4th person, and that person is going to serve as the director, the audience, the puppet coach. Like, there's a lot of ways to think about it, but is basically the eyes of the puppet. Most classrooms, we didn't even anticipate that there were going to be all these incredible mirrors in the room today. Most classrooms won't have that. So we like this fourth person to be the mirrors. That being said, practicing Bunraku in front of a mirror is excellent because you really can see, like, oh, actually you're leaning this way, or oh, your arm is back like right now. So there are going to be a few groups of 3. So if you're a group of 3, I recommend working in front of a mirror so you have those eyes. For that fourth person, if you could also give some, even like challenges, like, oh, your mom just called, or oh, you're gonna throw me a baseball, or any kind of like physical prompts to give the puppet something to work against. A few basic principles about Bunraku. So there's gonna be someone on the head. This person is the brains of the puppet and is truly the leader. In traditional Bunraku puppetry, which is a Japanese style of puppetry, it may take a puppeteer 60 years to learn and to become the head. It's like the most kind of esteemed position. I really think about this as multi-manipulator puppetry. And so again, it's just thinking about you are the one who's kind of making the decisions, and then the other 2 people are following. And you have to do that listening, you have to do that nonverbal communication, and you do that with breath and just that weight, that tension. So somebody, would you mind helping us be our third person? Great. So someone is on the head and the one of the arms. Somebody is on the body and the other arm, and then somebody is on the feet. Perfect. And what you want is for the person on the head is going to really kind of pull up and have that tension, and then the feet you really want to be grounded onto the ground. That's that weight. And you feel how like there's see how there's like it's almost like the spine, right? We're communicating with each other, and so that's what you really want to play with. Thinking about breathing. If you want to walk. So we could do this for hours, but I don't want to stop. Okay, so I think I was trying to do the math in my head, and I'm not a mathematician, so this is wrong, I think. But I think 6 groups of 4 and 2 groups of 3. I think there's 29 of us. I don't know. Do 6 groups of 4, and then we'll see who's left. And we'll get into groups of 3. Yeah, just get into groups of 4 or 3.
Yeah, and if the group combination does not matter. Anybody who's near you.
And then it'll be a floral puppet.
I am so excited.
Me too.
I can be the. I'll do that.
And we can rotate too. Okay, great. So we have 3. Perfect. You have a 4th. Oh, you have a 4th. Oh, okay, great.
No, that's totally fine. And then. Quick response. Should have been the legs. Who wants to do that? And then I'll do the head. So am I you're already
You want to take a chair with your group and have the puppet be on the chair if you do not want to be dwelling on the floor. Sorry. We're the floor. Yeah, we are the make sure that you are staying very grounded, that you feel the weight, the pull on it.
So, I'm going to start with breath.
breathing.
Well, you want to start with breath.
Nice plie.
Focus too. Then notice something. Looking around.
That might be a good idea.
Yes, we will rotate, so people will get an opportunity to do it.
I know, I'm like, I'm trying to solve. I mean, they're like, let's try to just. She's all? Uh-oh, it's too excited. It's jumping on you. It's calming down. Do you want some ice cream? Do you have an ice cream truck? Do we have some good ice cream?
All right, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Beautiful. So, I would encourage you to rotate. So, for the people that were watching, if you want to try your hand on the puppet, and then if you were the head, the feet, or whatever, but just have an opportunity to switch. Okay? And see what you prefer.
Hi, puppet.
Like
Do you see that over there? Oh!
Wait, you're going to do that? That's fine.
oh yeah, like
What are you?
try to pull even a little bit more down. Give a little bit more tension in the feet. Yeah, and then the head you can even hold a little bit tighter. Perfect. Yeah, pretend you see your best friend over here.
I forgot. I'm like, yeah. I like being
What about if you see your worst enemy over here?
That was my
like, talk, you know.
You are playing a game of dodgeball, but you're very bad at
That was great. Try and pull the head up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Right?
You're trying.
Now we're going to make a decision to jump.
Dance, but it's not.
And... yep, that's it. Yeah.
You made me think earlier of like workout stuff because like the knees were going like squat style. Like what other like workout things I feel like?
Can you kneel again? On the knee? I like the kneeling. Like almost kind of like ritualistic kneeling, you know?
All right, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Try it, bro. Just an invitation to rotate again, if you would like to rotate. I'm seeing some amazing work.
What are you doing? On the feet. Okay. You want to make that
Okay.
Don't get this on camera. Our puppet. Mutilating the puppet.
All right. Okay, so just got home and it's dark, so you gotta open the door and find the light switch. You're cat sitting, so you don't really know. I shouldn't have said home.
Start to think about too your positioning as a puppeteer. Try to be mindful that you as a puppeteer, you're not
And then as you're looking for it, your shin
that
hits
all of the
something and you
focus
discover
is
there's a
going to
staircase in front of you. You didn't know it was a duplex, and now you gotta go up the stairs. And then when you get upstairs, you step on the cat's tail. And discover the lights are motion sensor, and suddenly it's light in the room. So now you're checking.
You'd be very, very sad. You're walking home in the rain.
All dejected. rainy. And then the sun comes out. It's not raining anymore. I feel a little better. And you're so happy. You are going to sing. Wow.
Oh, there's a slide at the top of these stairs. Man, that was fun. Should we do it again? Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, have your puppet clap once. So nice to hear the puppet hands. All right. Did everybody get a chance to at least have their hands on the puppet in one way or another? Maybe not every position, but everybody got to perfect. We're going to keep playing with the puppets, so you're going to have a chance to continue in the different roles as we go. What we're going to do next is going to be a little American Ninja Puppet Warrior. So we have some stations and some activities, and we are going to ask you to work together, communicate with your group to have your puppet complete the tasks at the station. So we're going to quickly just run over the stations, and then we'll get you organized. So the first one up here will be a ring toss, or like placing a ring on the cone. Of course, it's 3 people moving the puppet, so it's going to look a little bit different, but getting over to your ring. Do you want to share about using your hands?
So these puppets clearly don't have fingers, so you can use your own finger to pick up things. Just a fun fact about puppetry, like that's just puppet magic. Like there is a role at Sesame Street called the Puppet Wrangler. So every episode when they're on set, there's a puppet wrangler whose job in between set is like looking, or in between scenes is looking at the script and be like, all right, Elmo needs to be holding a lollipop. So they'll take, and there's a variety of ways. They might Velcro the lollipop onto Elmo's hand. They may stitch it in, but Elmo is not able to pick up the lollipop. So as a puppeteer, you have to be thinking about that. You have to be breaking things down constantly, movement, how we as humans do things. And again, it like goes back to accessibility and like thinking through like, what do I take for granted? What do I just think, oh yeah, everyone can do that, when actually like they can't. So I think that's again like just another wonderful way that puppetry can talk about accessibility.
Great. So you're going to pick up your ring and place it on the cone or throw it, or we saw tons of creativity this morning, so.
Damn it.
So you get the gist of that one. We're going to journey on over here. This station up here on the little stage is like a modified hopscotch. So having your puppet, this puppet is very short, so it's a little hard for him, but moving through 1 foot at a time. And again, see how your puppet's going to do that. Over here, a balance beam or a tightrope. So having your puppet move down here. A great idea at this station is to think about how your puppet might feel doing this, right? If it's a little nerve-wracking, or maybe it's exciting, maybe they're an expert. Also, out of every station, but I think this one in particular, because there's like a little bit more like circumstance around it, thinking about breath, making sure your puppet is breathing and how they would be breathing doing this activity. And then lastly over here, we just have some movement cubes. So encourage to have your puppet do the rolling if you can, but you're going to roll. This one has different activities on it, such as arm circles, toe touches, skipping, and this one just gives you a number. So 5 toe touches or 10 skips, and have your puppet do that. And what we will do, everybody's going to start at a station. I see Genius, Renata, is making a second tightrope. So
We have duplicates of some of the things. Other things are shared. If your puppet does not have a station to go to at whatever given moment, let your puppet be the audience and see how is your puppet reacting to watching somebody else. What can your puppet learn from it? And we know that like a big part of theater is the audience part of it as well. So see how that creativity can fester. Questions about stations or what we're going to be doing next? Go ahead, Renata.
One of the things that came out of this morning that I thought was really cool was the group was talking a lot about literacy and that their school is really pushing for literacy. Well, that sounds silly, but like, yes, they want kids to read. But like, that the idea of how can we thread literacy into this activity? And so we had people improvising basically, so that fourth person, what you were doing earlier, but improvising as someone was going down the tightrope. And it reminded me of that improv game where like somebody stands behind you and puts their arms through and you're like explaining what's happening and they're and so again, like this is just the beginning. We just want to introduce puppets to you. You are the theater teachers and theater artists. Like you can make it your own and you can think about what can we do with this. So for that fourth person, that's another thing you can explore. Is like, are you narrating like, all right, the tightrope is happening. We've been so excited, and so that's another thing to play with. Okay. Was that a hand? Did you have your hand up or someone over here? Oh, okay. Great.
Great. All right. So if you could just go to the station that is nearest to you right now, and we can move
people around. And again, if there isn't a station for you, we can make one. We can split, or she split this, so there's 2 comb stations. Three comb stations. Amazing. 2 tightropes, the hopscotch is a single, and the cue, the dice are a single. And again, if you don't have something to do,
Set, go.
That was fun. It's fun to think about, like, all right, I gotta look down, make sure, okay, down, right, like, turn the head to watch, make sure he's on the tightrope. Yeah. That's fun to think about.
6, 7, 8, 9. Very good.
We're gonna go on the, I think we're going to the tightrope.
Okay. Shall we walk there or swim there?
Oh, swim. You got feet?
Clap!
And good throw. 8 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yay! Yes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, onward. We get here next. Okay.
completed or gotten frustrated at your station, you can move to an open station. And again, if you get to a station and somebody's there, you can become the audience for them.
Yeah, I think we gotta move like.
Yeah, I can be, yeah. I'm out.
I'm waving. Then he gets too confident. Okay. All right. There we go.
Yes. Awesome.
He's like,
Swirl the arms a little bit. Do a little arm dance. Let's do a little back to 8. Back to 7. Up to 7. Do a little hip move. Hips. Yeah. All right, 9, 6, 7. Oh boy. All right. Can we make a giant jump to the 1 and the 3? Like
like a here. Nice. Nice. Can we do a crossover to the 4? We do like a back step. Nice. And then up to the whatever is easier for you.
I kind of like that as a method.
Let's do it again. Go to the split together. I got it.
Try again.
He's as athletic as his
Yeah, me too.
as his team. Let me try to do it with my feet. Feet are there.
Nope. Try again.
There we go.
You got him back off. That's another challenge.
Go and try one this way. Hold on.
Oh. Yeah. Wow.
Where do we go now? The hopscotch, right?
Hopscotch, yeah. Or wait, there's a couple groups over there.
Alright, everybody, I know you are having so much fun. We're just going to take the pause for one quick moment. It's been together joy to watch your puppets come to life and do these activities. It's crazy, but we are starting to run low on time. Before we move on from this, just want to ask if there is a group that feels like their puppet excels or perhaps struggled at a station for like a spotlight for us all to watch your puppet complete a task. So if you were like, you must see our puppet do the tightrope. Is there any group that wants to have the spotlight put on them? Okay. Group over here. Do you want us to watch the tightrope? Is that this one? Okay. So let's gather around there.
Do you want me giving directions?
Yeah, give us some
And
directions.
we puppets, you should all cheer them on.
Yeah. Thank you, fellow puppets.
I want you to walk as if it's your first time walking on the tightrope 50 stories above the building, and it just began to snow. Don't look down. Don't look down. Okay, try. Oh, there you go. Oh, yep. Oh, just, you know what? Maybe look down a little bit. Just to, oh, bad idea. Yeah. Just put one foot in front of the other. Now, hold on. There's a big ice. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Maybe you should slither across it. Yeah, that seems to be working. Oh no! It's gonna topple. Oh, but you fall back right on there because you're. Yes. You're gonna take one teeny steps now. Teeny weeny little steps. And just brush the little bit of snow off of your head. Keep going. Oh, those knees of yours look like they're gonna buckle, but they're strong. You're almost there, and you're just gonna jump for it now. All right.
Puppets, all, can you do a victory dance for your fellow puppeteer? Yeah!
Awesome! Is there one more group that would like to spotlight an activity or a station? It could be something that your puppet struggled with, too. It doesn't have to be necessarily a success. Any other group want to show anything off? If not, no problem. We can all. All right, then let's actually come back. You take your puppets with you because they're going to be part of the end of class. We're bonded to them now.
Yeah, I feel very attached.
You are very attached.
I'm so sorry. Watch where I'm going.
So you do
So if this is my classroom, after we completed that, I'm going right back to the agenda. Did we complete American Ninja Puppet Warrior? Yes, we did. So now we're gonna head into our last part of the session today. So we as theater educators, we know that what we just did is not only really fun, but like we can see the learning happening, right? I think about my classroom, one of the biggest things that that anybody is looking for, peer-to-peer communication. This is amazing for that. Station work, I'm often asked to try to include, which is challenging for me, but this is a great way to do it. But we know that it's really important to be able to put language behind what we're doing and to show administrators or parents or anybody that there's evidence of learning happening, right? So if I'm doing this activity or this unit in my classroom, I'm going to want something else that students can complete at the end so I can show, also so I can see. They may be getting it. They may be able to move their puppet. They may be getting it, but are they making all of the connections? So just as like a suggestion to everybody, like if you were to put an exit ticket or a reflection at the end of your lesson, I personally because I need to differentiate everything and have multiple versions of things available. I use Canva, so I can just drop a picture in and I can take a picture out. I can leave space for text. And I can just go and I have basically the same questions being asked, but with different ways to answer them, having more choices, fewer choices, things like that. Do you have a question?
Can you send that to us?
Yes, I have it printed for you guys, and then I'll get your DOE emails and I can send you these resources too. Yes, my students printed and stapled these as part of one of their work study classes. So it all comes back to that, right? This is great. You could, if I was doing this in my classroom and this was like a 3-day activity, a 5-day activity, I might be doing this every day. I might be changing it. And personally, I just think Canva is a great resource because it's very easy to modify if you need to modify it. Also, in a District 75 classroom or an ICT room or whatever environment you might be teaching in, I sometimes have 10 paraprofessionals in my room with me, and I need to keep them busy, right? And I want to keep them engaged so they are best supporting the students' learning, right? So that's the biggest feedback I always get is, can you engage your paras more? Can you have them taking data? So I made this up for the purposes of this activity, but I've done this before with other activities I'm doing in class. It's very easy to modify. You could have a paraprofessional be in that director or that coach role. Give them a simple rubric like this, a checklist. You could even have this digital if that's your preference. Who are the students that were working in your group? Did they participate? Were they doing it? That's number one. Did they collaborate with their peers? And what level of prompting did they require to complete the activity? So were they able to do it fully independently? Did they need a verbal prompt? Like, maybe they have to say, Marlon, why don't you try using the hands of the puppet a little bit more? Did they need a visual? Did they need you to point to the hand of the puppet? Did they need a physical prompt? Did they need you to actually take them maybe halfway to the hand? Or did they need you to fully physically prompt them to do it? This is important for me in my classroom because that also helps me understand what supports I might need to put in. If somebody is not getting it or they need a certain level of prompting, I can make sure that they're getting the support. And it's keeping the paraprofessionals engaged. Although, to be honest, after watching everybody do this today, I think when I take this into my classroom, I think my paraprofessionals will be engaged just in the mere fact that it's very fun, right? So that's just one offering that I have for you if you have adults in the room that you need to engage. So before we take questions and do a big debrief, if you could just, within your puppet group, and if you're not sitting near your puppet group, you could join a new group. Just turn and talk with your group. What struck you about doing this style of puppetry today? And specifically, if you were to take this back into your classroom tomorrow, what is one way you might need to adapt or modify this to make it work for your students? So take a couple minutes, chat with your group, or join another group if that is easier. What struck you and what would you have to adapt if you took this back?
Very good. Yeah, I had a lot.
Literally, just obviously, I'm also I'm doing a show with Puppetry.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I haven't like very. So I'm gonna do it exactly as it is, like maybe even less. I love it all.
Like individually, it's very easy to feel successful at all levels, no matter how much you like have to contribute. Yeah.
I feel like the collaborative aspect of this is really cool because there's so many different parts. I wonder if some of my classes would be prompts beforehand.
Yeah, I was thinking that
What
too.
they could say to each other if, that
Even
was
if it's
not
like,
no, it's my head.
like, you know, you were coming up with like a simple story, like giving
Yeah.
them kind
I
of.
also think it might be nice to have
even
some
like
kind
a
of
little
ritual
box,
where
like,
if we talk about like what's a boundary we have for people putting their hands on our bodies and how do we want our bodies to be treated, let's consider this puppet's boundaries, or like let's endow it with the same
the same
autonomy,
respect, right?
because with it looking so rough, I can see my students like treating it rough and just going crazy with it. And so before they even get their hands on it, maybe saying like, this is just like we're something special, like we should consider this to be something special so the audience believes it's something special.
We have classroom rules where, like, I keep my hands to myself, my body's safe, my hands are down, my feet are down, and it's like, well, same rules to the puppet, right?
Exactly.
The puppet's not being used, feet are down on the ground. Not versus my elementary.
Right. And like that felt some kind of like concept.
I feel like
That is, I feel like it gives them a lot of like
Having like smaller ones for individual play, like making a bunch of little ones to practice.
it's just actually
I thought it was going to be like trying to have a dialogue, like you said, like adult or like, hey, I didn't know it was going to be the same.
Great. So, if any group has something fantastic that was discussed that you'd like to share out to the group at large, please, we'd love to hear what you discussed or what you think. Yeah, group over here.
So, with my students, I might just give them their own puppet to start before putting them in a group, just because I feel like it's a lot of like it might be confusing for them. So let them manipulate the puppet alone before, and then build on that. Then pair, and then 3. Maybe I would try that with my kids.
I was really struck by how quickly I felt like I was one with the puppet. Like when she was stressed, I was stressed. When she was happy, I was happy. And we were talking about like, cause I teach elementary, you teach middle school. So like with my older kids and all your kids, they're very self-conscious and they're very like, they don't want to be perceived. They don't want to be cringe. But like with this, it's so easy to just like forget about yourself. And I'm curious to see like, because obviously like we're adults and we're theater teachers, so we take to this stuff really naturally, but I'm curious to see if it would sort of create the same reaction in students, like if they could like lose themselves in the puppetry of it all.
Yeah, that aesthetic distance is pretty powerful, especially if it's not about you. You have to look through the puppet and see the world through the puppet's eyes. So yeah, I also would love to hear how in my experience, students really can lose. And even like too cool for school middle schoolers will get very silly with puppets because it's the puppet getting silly. It's not you. Of course.
Yeah.
To the point Anna was making earlier, I was saying like maybe have like smaller ones for them to play with, and like that we make as teachers on our prep, like out of little construction paper, and then make a big one together as a class in a D75 setting, so that way they have like the mechanics first, and then as a group we can learn how to build it, so that way both of those mechanics are there, so that way when the group play comes together, we're like informed on either side and not feeling like, oh, I have to get it right the first time, when you're already like scaffolding it so they're set up for the success.
That's great.
just wondering with it being paper, like I didn't know, like I was thinking of maybe putting tape on some of the edges so it doesn't fray. But I wanted, do you have any suggestions for it not to rip, like when they're working with it collaboratively? Is it like a one and done? Or are we hoping to hold on to these puppets? Because I'm just wondering.
And the previous group had the same thought, like what if it gets ripped and this
And then the collaboration falls apart.
Yeah, right. I think putting tape on edges or even like over like the joints could be like a really great way. What do you think, Renata, about like longevity of?
Yeah, I mean, I've had puppets that like, you know, my husband is like, when are we getting rid of these puppets? I'm like, they're my family, you know. But no, I mean, I actually think the longer you have them, the better, because the more subtle movement they can make. So like these are pretty fresh right now. Like you can get them, and actually you can wrap them in masking tape, and even the masking tape starts to kind of crumple and disintegrate, and then you know so. I think that like if you make puppets for your class, you could use them every couple years. Like it doesn't matter. And if it rips, what a conversation about like, well, how do we fix this? Like, what do we do? And truthfully, like you can kind of be pretty rough with them. Like, but it's also a conversation about like being gentle with props and being gentle with puppets and taking care of our instruments. You know, that whole thing. But yeah, I think the kind of the rattier they get, the more fun they are. I have also seen puppets, these type of puppets made with fabric. So like, you get long pieces of fabric and you can knot them. I would probably look online. I'm sure there's like a specific design, but yeah, I have seen them done with fabric. But I don't know, the paper, I used to do them with newspaper when newspaper was still a thing. And now I just do it with packing paper. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about like how I would use this tomorrow. I teach middle school, and we just finished like an actor's toolbox, like physicality, postures, and gestures, and tableau. And I was thinking, but not thinking about doing like gait, like Le Bon, or like move it heavy, and how old am I? Like these games that you can play that you're using physicality to create character. But how much more interesting and inclusive it might be to use this kind of puppetry to explore that, rather than asking students to use their own bodies, which again in middle school you were saying is like everybody's so like locked up and self-conscious that like you're gonna have kids who go for it and kids who are like absolutely not. But the act of starting with the playful exploration of the puppet and then bringing that into the language of like physicality and creating character with the puppet that's specific, I think is like a very cool way to make it last longer.
Just to couple up with that, I don't think people notice, especially the people doing the head, how expressive they were behind the, and I teach middle school as well. They like to hide behind things. And so, you know, even if you don't necessarily mention to them at one point, that they come alive, you know, because I'm looking at everyone doing this and just being engaged in it kind of opens something up in them. I don't know if it's because we're all theater teachers, but I'm excited to see how that works for my middle school group.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just genuinely curious. Have you ever like decorated these puppets or like put like, I don't know, the strings to make hair or any other costume pieces, and what was that like?
Absolutely. So tissue paper makes great costume. Like you could do an entire costume design class. So either starting with character and then going into costume, or starting with costume and then going into character. Like what this person that has, you know, red wild hair, flame hair act like, you know? So I think tissue paper is great. So you would do tissue paper and like colored tissue paper and just clear tape. It's just like a really accessible, fast way. It's also light. But you could also even, depending on how you build out the face, you could even just have students draw a face. You know, like I'm kind of pushing it out right now, so it feels like, and you might want to like, again, like you can decide like there's no one right way to do this. So like I'm even like, maybe it's mask, like you design 2 masks on 2 mini paper plates and then you tape them on, and maybe one's on this side and another's on this side, and you deal with them like, again, it's like the world is endless, the options are endless. But yes, I think costuming, I did it with a college class, and they loved it. And we didn't even manipulate them. We literally just spent an hour and a half decorating and making puppets and then introducing them to each other, and it was really, really fun.
And I think what is most exciting about this, and it kind of like today's theme was about like igniting like a spark. I think we all see there's like a million different places this could go. We saw like a story developing over there. You know, people were saying things like giving that side coaching of like, oh, like scratch your head, or like this morning with somebody like, Mom, like the puppet like got a phone call, and like, Mom, I can't talk right now, I'm busy. So I think there's a lot of places that this can go. People were talking about how to put this into a performance, right? There's a lot of places it can go. So we hope that you can take some of that. We got to end by going back to the agenda. We've reflected, check, it's done. Before you go, and this is like a 10, well, we went a little long. So it's a little break before you have to go to your borough sessions. Up here, copies of those exit tickets, if you want to take a flyer about All In. This was also emailed by Peter last week. And then if you want a digital resource, just write your DOE email. You don't have to put at schools, just put your name and your number, like your user ID. And thank you so much for being such a